start recording. Okay, so 5.1 en 5.2 we did in class en dan sê hulle vir ons by 5.3 bereken die grootte van hoek RPQ korrek tot 1 desimale plek. So we're looking for this one. Okay, and that's why I wanted to draw it first, because I need you guys to see that what we are going to do, and you need to mark the angles clearly on your sketch if you are going to give them other names. So you can either go and do this, or you must keep on talking about angle this, angle this. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to work in this small triangle. And we're going to use the gradient of the line PQ to calculate theta. Then we're going to use the gradient of the line PR to calculate alpha. And then we're going to say this angle, the one that we need, will be equal to that one minus that one, because the exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of the two interior. Okay, so I marked mine theta and alpha. So for 5.3, and you do have to indicate it on the sketch, else I won't know when I'm marking what I'm marking. So tan of theta will be equal to the gradient of PQ. So nou gaan ek net eers en ek werk net eers die gradient uit. So dis 9 minus 5. Onthou die eerste minus is deel van die formule. 14 over 13. Okay, now yesterday I told you guys the moment that you see a minus here, you have to know that you are going to say 180 degrees minus something. So now into my calculator, I just type in shift tan 7, not negative 7. So shift tan 7, not minus 7, and that gives me 81,87. So dan gaan my hoek theta gelyk wees aan dit. En is belangrik dat julle sien hierdie is 'n stomphoek. Because always when we have a negative gradient, negatiewe gradient, moet jy onthou gaan 'n stomphoek wees. Okay, so now we know that this one is equal to 98,13 degrees. And then we say tan of alpha will be equal to the gradient of the line PR. So nou gaan ons sê dis 9 minus 3 op 3 minus 1. For that we have 12, 12 over 4, which is equal to 3. Okay. Met ander woorde, nou gaan ek net sê shift tan 3. You don't have to do the 100 minus now, because this is positive. So it's 71,57 degrees. And now we can calculate this one. So the angle RPQ will be equal to 98,13 minus 71. Just want to move this to know. Minus 71,57 en my analities moet ons die redes byskryf. So dis buitehoek van 'n driehoek. And so that angle will be 26,56 degrees. Okay, goed. So dit is 5.3. Hy het like 'n lang som. Those will be like 5 or 6 marks, so they're good to get. Dan sê hulle vir jou bereken A, B se lengte en gee jou antwoord in die eenvoudigste vorm. So for that one, wortelvorm, eenvoudigste wortelvorm gaan ons werk. So we're going to work over here with A, which we calculated to be 2 and -4, and B, which was given to be 1 and 3. So if I have to give the length of AB, I'm going to say AB is equal to, and then you just need to know your formula. En jou sakrekenaar gaan hom vir jou altyd in sy eenvoudigste wortelvorm gee. So los hom net so. Net gaan vinnig hierdie gaan insit. So B is op die lyn P, halfpad. En A is op QR. Okay. Vir die volgende ene, nee, is hy op QR of is hy op PR? PR, sorry. So A is daar. Okay, nou die volgende ene is 'n bietjie van 'n moeilike vraag. So I don't know if you guys did the midpoint theorem last year, but the midpoint theorem says if this side and this side is divided in equal lengths, then this line must be parallel to this line, and that value will be half the value of this value. So as ons nou uitgewerk het dat hierdie lengte gelyk is aan 5 wortel 2, then this one, the one that they're asking for in PQ, must be double that. So then I'm going to say for 5.5, soms like dit mekaar nou, RQ gaan gelyk wees aan 2 maal 5 wortel 2 is 10 root 2, and your reason will be converse. No, it's not converse, it's just midpoint theorem. Okay, so gaan kyk net weer na daai middelpuntstelling van julle van graad 10 af, maar daai is 'n bietjie van 'n moeiliker vraagie. And then they say, prove that PRQ is right angled. So before I do that one, let's just write down what we know. This is for 5.6. We know that if the gradient of one line times the gradient of the other line is equal to -1, then that means that we have a 90-degree angle. So let's see, we already know that the gradient of PQ is equal to -7. We calculated it over there. Then we also know that the gradient of PR is equal to 3. Hallo Willem. Nee, maar ek sal dit vir jou post. Okay, so clearly we can see that those two do not have a product of -1. So let's calculate the gradient of the third line. So the third line will be the gradient of RQ. Okay, which is R is -3 minus 5 over -1 minus 5. So I get -1 over 3. Okay, so from there you have to see that the gradient of RQ times the gradient of PR will give you a product of -1, and therefore RQ is perpendicular to PR, and that means that the triangle PQR is a right angle triangle. Okay. Quickly before we go, I just want to get you guys started on number 6. So it says for number 6, I will upload this for you guys anyway. It says for number 6, determine the values of x if, and then they give you the coordinates of P, the coordinates of Q, the coordinates of R, and the coordinates of S. And there you had to determine the values of x. And for the first one, they say if PQ is perpendicular to RS. So for this one, you can say we know that that must mean that the gradient of PQ, which you can calculate, times the gradient of RS, which you can calculate in terms of x, must be equal to -1. So if you do that and you solve for x, then you will find the values. And for 6.2, they say if Q, R, and S are collinear. So vir die ene moet julle onthou, dit beteken dat die gradiënt van QR wat jy kan uitwerk, gaan gelyk wees aan die gradiënt van RS wat jy kan uitwerk in terme van x, and then you just solve for x.